All right, I'm here today with my assistant, Jared.
Hello.
My lovely assistant. Just kidding, he's not actually lovely, but anyways, we're going to take a road test in this. I know when I was looking to buy one, I couldn't find any videos at all with road tests on them, just to show some of the performance. So we're going to pop the hood here, take a look at the engine, check the engine oil and coolant, and then we're going to take it for just a little bit of a ride, see what it does on some, a couple of smaller hills, getting on the freeway, stuff like that. The truck's loaded down. It's about over 17,000 pounds the way it sits right now. So it's going to be a good test to be able to see, kind of 0 to 60, 0 to 75, and just see what it'll do climbing some hills, and also playing with the engine brake too, with the exhaust brake. The size of this engine and stuff in here. These new Duramaxes are just incredible. So this is the L5D, and it's in the 2500s and the 3500 HD trucks, the pickups, you get an L5P. This D model is just a little different. They've derated it. They've taken away a bunch of the horsepower and torque, and I believe they put a smaller turbo in it as well. So you can see over here, you can see all this wiring and exhaust piping and stuff. That's the exhaust brake. Let's walk over to the other side. It's actually an option. I don't know why that would be an option. Something like that I would think would be included in a truck that, this size, this heavy. So this side, is a little more obstructed because of the exhaust brake. So one day when I have to work on it, it's going to be a little bit of a pain, but a lot better than the trucks without a tilt hood, I gotta say. There's the air cleaner, cold air intake on it. There's an aftercooler, or I guess what people call an intercooler nowadays. I know in the Caterpillar world we call it an aftercooler. So let's go ahead and unlock the hood tilt. So you notice there's no engine heaters that you have to wait for, like in the older, some of the other diesels or the older diesels. You've got this selector stock right here. I don't know why they didn't put buttons. I guess they want to keep it old school here with a stock sticking out of your dash. But you have to rotate that to get the different options. Digital speed, trip odometer, fuel range, average fuel economy 10.1. I had it up to 10.4, but I was doing some messing around with it yesterday. It wanted to regen the diesel exhaust filter, so I lost some of my MPG that way. Remaining oil life, fuel filter, diesel exhaust fluid level, still shows okay. I wish it showed like a gauge how much was in it, but it doesn't. It just gives you a warning that you're low, and then it gives you some time to fill it up, top it off. Transmission temp. For the built-in trailer brake, it tells you how much the gain is, so when you're using your trailer, you can adjust the gain right here. You can also manually adjust through the brakes on the trailer, but I guess they give you a readout there. Engine hours, you set it to what language you want. So let's keep it on speed, and then just to show you guys what's inside the cab here when it warms up. Got the upfitter lights, which are hooked up to work lights I have on the bed. Oh, that's the PTO. So when you turn on the power takeoff, it accelerates the throttle a little bit, and then if you want it to accelerate more, you can actually push some of these cruise control buttons to get even higher idle. So if you're running an air compressor or whatever you're running off the PTO, you have different settings. And the funny thing is, I don't have a PTO on here. I run my crane off of my welder. There's the switch for the exhaust brake. These are lights for the outside, and you turn that on. There's a cargo lamp on the back of the cab, and there are lamps, 2 LED lights on the sides of the mirrors, which light up the side. So they're kind of like docking lights, I guess you might equate them to. And then you can also turn off the traction control, which is good for me. I work on the dirt a lot, so you get out there in the mud or something like that, you can always shut off that traction control so you can get unstuck. It's got Bluetooth and everything, but I also like to plug in my phone just because of the CarPlay. There we go. Well, there's CarPlay. Shows I have a voicemail message. I can use a Waze app, which is awesome. And when the new iOS comes out later this year, later in 2019, Apparently there's going to be more options for the aftermarket or non-developer apps, whatever, that I can use on CarPlay. It comes with a backup camera. Just it's behind the seat in a bag, so you can hook it on your bed whenever you finish up fitting your truck. The only place I could put it on mine was off to the side, up by the taillights. So it's kind of a sideways view. It's not the greatest, but still nice. You can see that's the left corner of my truck, the driver's side, passenger side. Still better than nothing. Alright, so on the truck here, you can put it in selector. I don't have it totally figured out. The owner's manuals, it tells you sort of, but not exactly. If you put it in drive, you just have 1 through 6. It's just automatic. And then there's also tow haul mode, which, as heavy as my truck is, I always run in tow haul mode. But if you put it in L down here, you have the buttons on here. You have the plus and the minus. You could set the highest speed you want, or the highest gear you want it to be able to go into. If you're going to overspeed it, it will upshift. I believe that's what the manual said. And you can also downshift it manually this way. So say I have it third and I'm in third, and I want to slow down or come to a stop, or just get more RPMs to climb a hill. You can automatically or manually downshift it. And then 1 is just 1. It's just going to stay in first gear. And I haven't even played with that, so I don't know if it'll automatically upshift out of first gear. But anyways, let's just put it in drive, tow haul mode. I'll put the exhaust brake on just so that we have it, just to assist me in braking. One nice thing about the exhaust brake, you have it engaged. Of course, it doesn't work unless you take your foot off the throttle, and it shuts off at like 6 miles an hour, I think. Once you get below 6 miles an hour, somewhere around there. But when you do let off the throttle, if you just let off the throttle alone, you can feel the exhaust brake kick on, but it doesn't engage really hard. So it's not too annoying. Like right now, I let off, you can kind of feel it. But if you hit the brakes a little bit, it gives you more exhaust brake. If you hit the brakes a lot, then you get a lot more exhaust brake, and you can really feel it kick in and help you. One thing I noticed about this truck, I don't know if it's supposed to do this, but when I take off from a stop, I get a shuddered transmission. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that, or if something's just out of balance or not set up right on my transmission. So that's something I'm going to call the service department at the dealer about. Hold the camera here on the speedometer as we climb this hill, and then I'll see what it does. So I got the pedal to the floor, tow haul mode. Climbing a decent sized hill right now. She's climbing good. Still gaining speed. I've driven a lot of trucks in the years back with this much weight on them that would not be gaining speed right now. And right now we're up to 55 already coming up this hill. All right, foot off. You can feel the exhaust brake coming on. Now I'm going to give it some braking. You can feel that exhaust brake. It's on moderately right now. It's not too bad. Get her up to about 45 at the top of the hill before we drop down. Okay, we're at 45. Foot's off the throttle. It's not much exhaust braking right now because I don't know, the truck just says we're not trying to slow down too much. So I'm going to give a little bit of brakes. It's holding us really well. It's holding us at 37. Kicked it to 38. It's holding us at 39. I'm going to give it a decent amount of brakes. Okay, now we're at 30. And it's just holding us right on 30. Shut it off, and then we'll come down the rest of this hill. See if we gain speed. Yeah, now we're gaining speed. Oops. One nice thing on this is that when you want to change lanes, you just bump the blinker stock up. It gives you 6 blinks, so you don't have to worry about shutting it off. If you want to cancel it after 3 or 4 blinks, you can just bump it again and it'll stop. Okay, so here we are. We're going to get on the freeway. This is an incline on the freeway. It's not real steep, but it is climbing. Once we get up to the next off-ramp and turn around, we will, it'll be downhill, so we're going to see a little different acceleration on the freeway. Okay, so here we are, 37, 38 miles an hour. Climbing. This truck is set for 75. It's governed by RPM. You notice on the tachometer when we're shifting in other gears, there's too much traffic to see the 0 to 75, I guess. But yeah, on the other gears it revs up to just over 3,000 RPM. But then since they limit the top speed when you're in cruise in 6th gear at 75, you're only at 2,100 RPM. So I'm waiting for, maybe Mr. Gale Banks or somebody to come up with a programmer to be able to adjust that. See, here we are, we're at 2,100 RPM, 75 miles an hour, and I'm deadheaded. Sometimes it makes it pretty hard to pass. But I wish it would do 80. This truck did 80, that would be perfect for me. Like right now, I have an option to pass this truck before this off-ramp or not. I'm going to take it and try it. If I miss it, we're going to the next off-ramp. But if I can do 80, I'd be past them already. It's just that 5 miles an hour, it's a lot. It's more than you would think it would be. Alright, instead of getting back on the freeway, I decided to come up here and head towards La Cresta. There's a nice climb going up into the hills up here. I'll stop at the bottom and we'll get a picture of the elevation on my phone. And then when we get to the top, I'll show you the elevation so we know how much we climb. I think it'll be a good example of how well this thing will climb. You know, it's a kind of comparable to, like, you know, the Ford F550 or the Dodge 5500, which still have a smaller look to them, like a pickup, where this one seems kind of in between a small pickup size and you know, medium truck size, like the Kodiak Top Kick, you know, the F700s, those type of size trucks. But it still handles and everything like the smaller truck, which is nice. It doesn't handle like you're driving, you know. We used to call them back in the day, we used to call the old International truck a corn binder. You know, it was like a 2.5 ton truck or even a 5 ton truck. It doesn't handle like that. It still handles like a pickup, but you can tell it's bigger, but I don't know, you kind of get the best of both worlds, I think, with it. Okay, I'm going to turn on elevation. So here's the elevation we're at right now. So we're in tow haul mode. I just have it just in drive. I don't have it in manual shift. Right now we're up to 50. Not real steep here, but it's moderately steep. It's definitely not flat. But up here just a little bit is where we get a decent climb, where I've come up in my old truck, my old Ford, and it definitely was lacking power on this hill for sure. It is really quiet in this truck. My old truck, I couldn't even use the phone when I was driving. Hands-free or earpiece, anything. It was so loud. This truck here, when we were pulled over waiting for the cement truck to go by, I had a phone call come in and I used the hands-free, and it's incredible. It's just so clear, and the truck is so quiet. So we're climbing a good hill right here. This is a pretty steep hill. I get up by the angle of the road, I'm not sure if we can. But we're gaining speed. Just got up to 58. And actually, I backed off the throttle there. Let me get the throttle back down. Now you can hear the fan kick on. I don't blame that fan because it's about 95 degrees out today, or somewhere in that range. And we just pulled 17,000 plus pounds up this hill. Exhaust brake kicking in. Okay, Jared, here's the phone. Covered the camera. It was a good climb. Alright, so we'll start coming down about, well, we're at 50 miles an hour. I let my foot off the throttle and the exhaust brake's on just slightly. The speed starts creeping up. Yeah, it's starting to creep up. So I'm going to give it some moderate braking. Give your downshift. And it's holding us right now. It's holding us fine. 51 miles an hour. As the road leveled out, we're slowing down. So we're going to start dropping again. Just going to keep my foot off the throttle, off the brakes, see what she does. .49 miles an hour, so we're just kind of back up to where we started. Road's leveling out. If it's too slow, I'll have to just kick it up a little bit, just to. If I give it a little bit of throttle, the exhaust brake will come off. Or if you tap the brakes, it'll come off. Yeah, we're slowing way down now. We're getting down to 45. Give it a little throttle. You can feel it kick off when you give it throttle. You can feel the exhaust brake, a little shudder as it comes off. All right, so we're back up to 55. Foot's off the throttle. Comfortable coming down these hills. It's the truck is not getting away from me at all. Yeah, back to the throttle. I'll just shut the Jake brake off and just let it coast naturally now. Okay, we're gonna get back on the freeway now, and it's a downhill on-ramp, downhill freeway. So as long as these cars don't get in my way, and I'll have a good chance of getting up to 75 really quick. 50, 55, 60. Gotta watch out for. Okay, we're up to 65. Didn't let off. We got over 70. Okay, we're about to hit 75. And you can feel it. You can just feel it hit a wall all of a sudden. Your engine control just cuts off your throttle when you're not accelerating anymore. It sticks you right in. 100 RPM, 75 miles an hour. It's got cruise control, so set the cruise, hold on to 75. The only issue with the cruise control, and the owner's manual actually warns you of this. You have it set at 75, you're cruising along, you stay at 75, once in a while it'll dip to 74, not a big deal, and it pops right back up. But if you hit a steep hill, you can start losing speed, and the owner's manual says if you're climbing a hill, you need to give it some more throttle, maintain that speed. I don't know why. I don't know why the engine computer can't compensate for that. It should be controlling your airflow. It should be controlling your fuel flow. I don't know. There must be a reason. I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you. I don't know why people do that. Just a little hint to everybody. When you come to a stoplight, if you're not turning right, get to the left part of the lane, because it's illegal to turn right on a red. And I'd love to be turning right on that red right now. I guess we'll wait. Here's the guy. Dirt Diggers Motorcycle Club. I think a motorcycle rider would know that. Anyways, I like to gripe about things. It's a hobby of mine. Alright, so that's our test drive. 2019 Chevrolet, medium duty, 5500. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them. Alright, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you like the video, click like, click subscribe. You can even hit that bell button if you want to. And hopefully we'll have a lot more videos coming for you guys. You know, not just on this truck, but on the heavy equipment rental and all the other fun stuff that we do. Anyways, have a good day.